we're going to solve this exponential expression in 3 steps solution. The first step is to recognize the exponent rule. If you have an exponential expression AB exponent n, this is the same thing as applying this exponent to every factor inside this parenthesis, which is this is A exponent n, B exponent n. We're going to apply this first into this. In this very first expression, because every factor in this parenthesis is squared, this squared will apply to every factor inside this, and also this negative exponent 5 will also apply to every factor inside this parenthesis. So considering this very first expression, we have using this, we have that since this very exponent 2 will apply to every factor in this parenthesis, this will now be negative 10 to the power of 2. We'll consider this next factor, which is this squared to the power of 2. The next one is y raised to the power negative 4 exponential 2. This will now give us negative 10 exponential 2, the same thing as saying negative 10 multiplied by negative 10. This z squared to the power of 2 is still the same thing as saying z to the power of 2 multiplied by 2. And this is y exponential negative 4 multiplied by 2. Note, whenever a negative number is multiplying another negative number, the resultant product is always positive. So negative 10 multiplied by negative 10 is 100. Z to the power of 2 multiplied by 2 is z to the power of 4. Y exponential negative 4 multiplied by 2. Also note, whenever a negative number, in this case negative 4, is multiplying a positive number, the resultant product is always negative. So this will be y exponential negative 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. This is for this very first factor. So we'll also have to simplify this second factor, step 2. So let's note this. Simplify the second factor and then we'll merge them together. The second factor is z exponential 3y all to the power of negative 5. Using the same power rule, this will now give us that this exponent negative 5 will apply to every factor inside this parenthesis. This will now be z exponential 3 multiplied by negative 5. Also, next factor, y exponential negative 5. This will give us z. Remember we said when a negative number is multiplying a positive number, the result will be a negative number. So 3 multiplied by negative 5 is negative 15. This is y. Y exponential negative 5 is y exponential negative 5. So this is for the second expression. This we'll now have to link these two together. The next step is to multiply these two simplified factors. The first simplified factor is 100 multiplied by z exponential 4 also multiplied by y exponential negative 8. The second factor is that we simplified is z exponential negative 15 multiplied by y exponential negative 5. If we expand this by also grouping like factors, this will be 100 multiplied by z exponential 4 multiplied by z exponential negative 15 multiplied by y exponential negative 8 multiplied by y exponential negative 5. The second exponent rule we are going to apply in solving this is that when you have a number a exponent m multiplying another number a exponent n, that the resultant product is a exponential m plus n. When two exponents have the same base, in this case a, they have the same base a and the different exponents, it is easier since they have repeating base to just add the exponents. So if you have a number, say x exponent 2 multiplying x exponent 3, this will be equal to x exponent 2 plus 3, which is equal to x exponential 5. We'll apply this to solve this. So this will now be 100 multiplied by z. This will now be, since they have the same base, it will now be 4 plus negative 15 or multiplied by this same y have the same base. The next two factors y also have a common base. So we'll add the exponents. This will now be y exponential negative 8 plus negative 5. This will give us 100 multiplied by z exponential. When a positive number is adding a negative number, the sum will be the first positive number minus the second negative number. This will now be 4 minus 15. Because a positive number is multiplying a negative number, it will give us a negative number. So minus 15 all multiplied by y exponential negative 8. The same thing, since a positive number is multiplying a negative number, it will become a negative number. This is negative 8 minus 5. This will now be 100 multiplied by the exponential 4 minus 15 is negative 11 multiplied by y exponential. When we are subtracting a number from a negative number, the easier way to do is to add the two numbers and maintain the negative sign. So this will be negative 8 plus 5 is 13, negative 13. This will now be 100 multiplied by z exponential negative 11 multiplied by y exponential negative 13. This is the correct simple form, but in most algebra classes, we're expected to write this in the final answer using a positive exponent. We can simplify this further using our third exponent rule. Step 3. Recall that when a number is raised to a negative exponent, this means that you should take the reciprocal of this number and retain the exponent. The reciprocal means 1 divided by a exponential n. So this and this will be written in this form. This simplified expression will now be 100. If we change this to a positive form, it means taking the reciprocal of this. This will now be 1 divided by the exponential 11 multiplied by this y will take this form also 1 divided by y exponential 13. This means 100 multiplied by 1 over z exponential 11 multiplied by 1 over y exponential 13. When we combine the denominators, we have that this is 100 divided by z exponential 11 multiplied by y exponential 13. This will now be our final answer in the positive form. If you enjoyed this lesson and this kind of lessons, kindly click on the subscription button to become part of our math community. Also like this video, comment your questions, and we'll see you in our next video. See you on the next one.